Ali and this is Gareth, and we're in a band called Rend Collective. And we have 3 children. We have Arthur, he's 5, Lachlan, who's almost 3, and then we Sullivan, who's our girl, and she's 1.5. We travel all around the world leading worship as a living, and the kids come too, and it's all a bit of a party.
Sure is.
A very tired party.
Story time's obviously a huge big thing before the kids go to bed. Our 5-year-old, his favourite book is the Bible. I know that's it's but it really is. So we would read that. Our 3-year-old hates the Bible currently, so that balances it out. But telling the stories. One of the things that even I was thinking was the other day I was taking the boys down to the park, and they were kind of fighting and bickering, and I said, Jesus, and then I started talking about how Jesus would say to love one another, to love your enemies, and especially in a world where we're afraid of the outsiders and things like that. It was just a conversation we had going to the park, but it felt really great, and they kind of understood it. They could see it, and I was thinking, a lot of time as parents we feel like we need to do it in a certain way or have it all together or whatever, but it just felt so normal. It was a normal conversation. It wasn't like a forced, okay, and now we're going to be spiritual. It was actually, this is what Jesus said about this scenario. Yeah.
One of the big things that's part of our lives is we're a touring family. So even when you say home life, for us, home life looks like we're in an airport or we're on a moving bus a lot of the time. We're in different churches, things like that. And for me and trying to impart faith into my kids, I'm like, a big part of that for us is just in welcoming them on the adventure. We don't try and block them from our crazy lifestyle. We don't try and say, well, you stay at home and you stay, comfortable. We're on the road together and we're doing this mission, and you're as big a part of it as what we are. And so they get to see what God's doing around America and different countries and around the world, really, and just saying, just showing them what God can do and showing them actively how God provides for us and how God, when we're like, we don't know what's going to happen or where we are next or how we're getting from A to B, but they get to be a part of it and they get to see actively what depending on God looks like. Yeah, it's funny because you would see, on Arthur when music comes on, he'll put his hands in the air. And I'm like, why are you putting your hands in there? He goes, I don't know, I just see people do it. Like, okay. Or when he loses a bit of Lego and he's like, Lord, could you just let me find my Lego?
He does do that. We never told him to do that.
I know.
We said, you should pray when, just figured it out.
But kids are like sponges, they see the environment that you're putting them in. And so, we very much live as a community. We've always said from the very start, Rend Collective is more of a family than a band. And so my kids are constantly surrounded by people who want to, just breathe life into them and be part of their lives and not try and exclude them, but include them in what we're doing. And so I feel like they pick up on all these little things, which for you may seem like so normal, but for them it's like, oh, this is what we do. But I feel like as a parent, you're always second guessing yourself. You're always like, am I doing the best? And you're like, I don't know. There's just so many guessing games, like 100 times a day. You're like, I don't know. Should we do this? Should we do this?
Probably
I don't know.
Not doing our best. That's okay.
Also, really make sure worship's fun. I feel like growing up for us, we grew up in Christian homes. Worship was always seen as a very serious, like this is worship time, and you were told to be quiet in church, and And as part of being Rend Collective, we just really believe that the joy of the Lord is our strength, and we would even call ourselves a celebration band. And so when we're recording albums, so Gareth records and produces everything, we always include them in everything. So when we're playing new songs that we're writing, we make sure we're having dance parties around, that we're not,
Dance parties are good.
Dance parties are good. Your dancing is questionable, but we really want them to show them that it can be fun, and you don't have to be serious all the time with your face scrunched up and your hands in the air, but you can really just enjoy God and enjoy worshiping. And even when they've come out to some of our worship evenings, we fire bubbles and we do confetti and we do all the fun things. And like that moment when I saw my 5-year-old, like kind of really understand what was happening, and just seeing the joy in his face. I mean, it took everything not to just start crying on stage. Like, oh, this is amazing.
It's also like one of the things we've found hard is finding stuff for our family that we all like, which is one of the things we were talking about earlier. We decided this year that we would make a kids album, which is coming out in the autumn, because there was nothing we really enjoyed as adults, which sounds bad, but if you're not enjoying it, it's hard to get your kids to enjoy it. So we worked for the last year and a half on getting kids material. Some of the songs that is teaching things about what Jesus would say. Other things is engaging with God and worship. One of the songs is called Fun, and it's just a simple worship song that he's the fun in our life, he's the joy. But we kind of made it for, the album is made for adults. It's made for parents who are like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
Not another Baby Shark.
Yeah, you know, or whatever the songs are. So we kind of made it for adults because we do believe that families should worship together and should enjoy it. And if you're going to hear it 100 times in the car, it might as well be good. It's something that you enjoy as well. So that was one of the big things. The other thing is the song My Lighthouse, which for some reason it seems to really, it's weird, that song blows my mind, because we would have like emails from guys who've been in prison for 30 years, like real hard men, saying this song has just changed me and this, and then we'll get one from a 5-year-old. You know, and
doing a cover version?
I don't know how that works, but we decided that, I think how we share with the kids is we decided that we would write a book, a kids book for My Lighthouse, for our kids basically. So we kind of started a kids ministry selfishly because we wanted to equip more parents with things that can help them as well.
It's funny, for me, from the very start of, they're so inquisitive and asking all the questions, and so they start to really question your faith before you're even ready for it. You know, you're just pouring, milk into your coffee and you're like, oh, I was not ready for this question, or simple things like, we talk about like Eve eating the apple and then sin entering the world, and he's like, but you tell me to eat apples all the time. I'm like, I know, but that was a different apple. I'm like, wait, what,
Apples are evil, that's what the Bible teaches, so don't eat your fruit and vegetables.
And I feel like when you come down to like those questions of, like, why would God wipe out the world with Noah and, destroy everybody and just save these people? And you're like, I know, it's my 4-year-old ready for the answer of this, and that's the bits I find challenging of like, how do I explain all of these different aspects of the character and the nature of God to when you just want your kid to know that God's love and they're accepted and loved and to live the best life that they can, so that's what I find.